What's up, YouTube? I want to do a quick review on something I just got from Cult of Athena. It's the pattern welded Han Dynasty Jian sword. Um, Costs about 200 bucks on Cult of Athena. Now, make sure you get it from that website because if you actually do get this, because it's the cheapest website that I've seen it on by far. I've actually seen some websites selling it for around twice the amount, about 400 bucks. Amazon selling it for like 250. There's another website that's selling it for like just over 200 bucks. But it's 189 plus shipping, which runs up to about 200. Now this thing, for being at the price that it is, I can see why other companies are selling it for $400. It's a really nice sword. The blade's 23 inches. As far as I know, it is full tang. I haven't been able to really take apart the handle just because I don't want the actual wrap around the handle to come apart, because I don't really feel like redoing it right now. It comes with a really nice scabbard, and this box, it's got like dragons and phoenixes decorated in like a Chinese style. So it also comes with a cleaning kit and these like thin cotton sword handling gloves. The pattern on it, I don't know if you can really see it in the camera. It's a really nice pattern. It doesn't stand out a ton, but I can't really get a good view on it. But one thing that there we go. One thing that I do really like about the way that they did the folded steel is they didn't etch it too long, if they did etch it at all. So it still has that nice metallic steel color shine. But also, if you look at it real close, it's hard to see from the camera and from this angle and everything. But the actual laminates, the pieces of steel that they fold together, they're a lot thicker, so you can see the lines a lot better on the inside of the blade. There we so here they really stand out, but then the closer to the edge that you get, about like that much of the edge, you almost can't see the layers because of how close together they actually are. So what that does essentially is something kind of similar to a differential heat treat, where the edge is going to be a bit harder because there's that much more of the harder steel like closer to the edge, and then there's bigger chunks of softer steel in the middle, so it just gives it kind of similar effect to a differential heat treat. Now I've done a couple of tests, nothing crazy. A couple cardboard boxes, bottles, stuff like that, cans, nothing major. In that regard, for cutting, held up very well, haven't had to sharpen up the edge at all, which, by the way, when it comes, it's not razor sharp, but after only just 5 minutes with a sharpening stone, it is razor sharp. But a couple of the other things that I've done with it, I did do a flex test. It did absolutely fine. So it is tempered decently well, at least. I mean, I didn't want to snap it, so I didn't go too crazy with it. But another thing that I did as well was just to kind of test the tang a little bit. I smacked the side of the blade, the flat of the blade, against a big dresser that I have really hard, like really hard, few times, just to simulate like, a really hard block or a really hard parry, just to see if the tang would hold up. And yeah, it did. Nothing loosened up. Nothing. Everything's the same. Um, so it comes with these engravings. I have no idea what they mean. One's a dragon, but there's no real explanation that I could find as to what the Chinese symbols mean. Um, it's got like brass zinc alloy fittings, and this is sanded down a little bit just to get a little bit more shiny, but the brass fittings come kind of with an antiqued look. Those are dragons, of some type of weird dragons, I think, too. But the box that it comes in comes with a cleaning kit and these like weird cotton sword handling gloves, so you don't like smear finger stains on it. Comes with this cleaning kit, and I actually had to look up what one of these things was. This is just a bottle of oil, which, by the way, you should clean it after every time you really use it or handle it. Or if you're not really handling it, just every few days, because it is carbon steel. It will rust. I don't know exactly what steels it's made out of, because it's made out of two different steels layered together. That's what makes that pattern. I don't know what type of steel it's made of. I actually tried to get like the specifics on it from Cult of Athena, and because of some weird sales process, they can't actually track down the specifics because of some weird shit. I don't even know. But I mean, every review I've ever seen on this thing, it does really well. But anyways, back to the cleaning kit. So it comes with this bottle of oil. It's basically mineral oil with some kind of scented stuff in it. It has this cloth. It's just a kind of puffy cotton cloth. And then it comes with this thing. I actually had to look up what this was. It's essentially a ball with like some cloth wrapped around it, and what's inside the ball is this powder stuff, and then it's got this stick thing on the end. I looked up what it was, and basically it's for polishing the blade. So what it is, it's either like a really fine ground up kind of remnants of a sharpening stone, like a really fine one, or actually a more modern replacement of it is talcum powder. So it's just a really fine powder, and I think this actually is talcum powder because it kind of smells like it. But it's a really fine powder, and you just essentially just smack the blade up and down, take a fine cloth and just kind of rub it in, and it just polishes the blade. But yeah, so that's what that is. I had no fucking clue when I saw this thing. It confused me. But all in all, for only $200, this thing is very well worth it, and it has the like four-cornered blade, four-sided blade, so it's kind of shaped like a diamond. That's about how thick it is. There's my index finger. It is pretty thick. So the blade will hold up. The tang, I can't really say how thick it is or anything, but I mean, I don't really foresee that being a problem as long as you're not planning on attempting to chop down a tree with it. So yeah, just don't do that and you should be alright. But the thing about the four-sided blade is it is like there's two different edge geometries for a sorry, I got a phone call, but yeah, there's two different types of edge geometries for a Jian sword. Um, one's like an octagon kind of shape. What I mean by that is when you look at the blade, like from the point, you'll see like 8 sides, and in this case you'll see 4. So this is a lot better for cutting soft targets, but with hard targets you run the risk of bending the actual blade more. There's more chance of messing up the edge because it's thinner. But I mean, like I said, unless you plan on trying to chop down a tree, it shouldn't really be a problem. I personally like the look of this more. But another kind of cool thing about this blade is if you look at it straight down, at the last like 6 inches almost, it has a sudden taper down, and it just makes it a little bit easier to handle, like just that much more. And the balance point of the blade is about right here. And something I also want to talk about was there's kind of a rumor going around that this is a Jinshi sword from the company Jinshi. Jinshi has been out of business for a little while. So it's not actually from them, but if I'm not mistaken, it could be not from the company itself, but this dragon is trademarked. And like I said, Cult of Athena people really knew nothing about where it was coming from. I talked to Ryan, and he said that essentially the sword comes from some company who outsources it from a forge in China, and they couldn't really track down any of the real info. And I mean, that company has been out of business or on hiatus for a long time. Their website's down. There's no way to know if they're actually back up in business. But I think what it could be is someone who was involved in the company, maybe continuing it. And another cool fact about this sword is essentially it actually is almost identical to the Jinshi model, so it very well could be, I don't know. However, if you're aware of the cartoon Avatar: The Last Airbender, this is Sokka's meteor sword. The martial arts guy that they used as a reference for the show, like his name's Sifu Kisu. He has this sword, and the Sokka sword teacher is actually based off of him, and so this is his favorite sword that he owns. Basically, this same exact design is his sword. So it's kind of like and he based Sokka's meteor sword off of this. It's kind of like a reverse fantasy sword, I guess, in a sense, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's pretty much about it. I mean, for $200, this thing is well worth it. I mean, I understand why some websites think they can sell it for $400. They actually marked the retail price at $600 and tried to tell you that you're getting a deal, which is kind of crazy. But no, this thing is pretty awesome. It's well worth buying. about it.